Hey you guys, what is going on? I am the host of this particular platform and welcome. You know what? I was going through my videos and I seen that I had a few comments on a couple of the videos that I uploaded for you guys. And that makes me feel really good, whether the comments are good or bad. And in all honesty, these comments were some pretty good comments. I really do appreciate it because it's your comments that keep me going and keep me telling these particular stories, because every story that someone has to share, someone within the world can relate to what that person is saying. And I'm glad that people within the universe are relating to the stories that I'm putting out there for you guys. Anyway, I want to update you guys in regard to my home front. I feel like it's crumbling. Unfortunately, my roommate situation may be coming to an end. I feel like I'm an impasse, so I feel pretty hard, and I feel like it's going to come to an end 7:33. That could be my confirmation, but I just feel like it's going to all come crumbling down, considering the fact that I showed some behavior to my roommate, Honeybee. You guys know that Honeybee was or is my roommate currently. She may not be, here soon. Who knows? I'm not sure. But to wrap it all up in a nutshell, I thought that I was hiding my addiction. And, Honeybee and I are free spirits. We seen each other, but we didn't see each other in regard to the roommate situation, which made it even better because we gave each other adequate space to do what we needed to do. And when we did regroup at the house or whatever the case may be, it was good vibes. Unfortunately, I allowed my addiction to take role in all of that. And there were times when she would leave out of town or, for the day or whatever the case may be, and I would take it upon myself to do, methamphetamine in my room or somewhere within the apartment. Now, a lot of people don't think that a lot of people think that the smell of methamphetamine doesn't carry, but it does. And I'm not sure if she recognized that particular smell or not, but I think that I hid that particular factor pretty well. I think that I hid the fact that I was doing something behind closed doors pretty well until all of that came crumbling down. Anyway, I was, relapsing and abusing, methamphetamine or whatever the case may be. And there was a point where I was invited to her mom's place, which is in Maricopa, the city of Maricopa. And I was on one, and I really didn't want to go anywhere. I wanted to just be homebound. And I just wish that this day never happened. But at the same time, I have to accept what happened and pretty much keep it moving. Whether or not our roommate situation and or friendship lasts the test of time or not. Anyway, as much as I tried to fight not going, I accepted the offer and we went. Everything was fine until we got to her mom's place, and I already felt out of pocket considering the fact that, I'm on one, I'm high, and the only thing I want to do is just pretty much watch fucking porn and just be left alone. So, there were points where her mom just wanted me to relax and whatever the case may be, and I was just too tense. I was out of my element. I'm all the way in Maricopa. Not that that's an issue, because another person that I know lives in Maricopa, and I visit them, quite frequently. But anyway, I just wanted to be, pretty much just left alone. And, we were watching a TV show. I never seen this show. I stopped watching TV years ago, so I'm really not enthused with what we're watching on TV, but I'm trying to make myself seem I was very thankful, that I was there. Don't get me wrong. I was very thankful that I was even offered to come to this particular individual's home, Honeybee's mom's home, because from my understanding, she doesn't allow a lot of people into her home like that. And I see why. She has cameras all over the place and she has nice things in her home. So I see why she's very selective in regard to allowing certain people in her nesting quarters. And I was one of them people that she, happened to invite in her nesting quarters until I pretty much fucked that up. So anyway, I was asked questions in regard to the show, and I was told about the show and whatever else the case may be. That wasn't the real issue. The real issue came when it was time for us to play a game, and I did not know anything about the game. I'm not really a game person in regard to Monopoly and board games and stuff like that. That just really doesn't toot my fancy, and there's no disrespect to her or anyone else that are into board games. It's just not what I like to do, regardless if I was on drugs or not. But anyway, I tried to make myself seem like I was enthused and I was into the game and whatever else, even though I didn't understand it. So the game was explained to me. I still didn't understand it. For one, when you're not enthused with something, regardless if you're being taught about what everyone else is interested in, if you're not interested in it, you're just not going to really care what anyone is saying. Plus I was going through my thing with the Matrix, so the only thing I wanted to do was just be home and, like I said, wrapped up in the world of porn and whatever else the case may be. Anyway, we started playing the game, and obviously I'm doing everything wrong. I'm not going to say everything wrong, but I'm going to say obviously I'm playing the game wrong because of some of the comments that I received in return when I made a move. And it made me feel some type of way, because it's just like, well, those comments obviously have to be directed towards me. Maybe they weren't. Maybe I was just so low vibrational because of the whole drug aspect of it all and whatever else the case may be, and just being out of my element and just wanting to be home, that I don't know. I don't know. Maybe that's just how I was feeling when that wasn't the case in regard to, them meaning Honeybee's boyfriend, her mom, her sister. Basically it was a family event. Not that there was a lot of people there, but it was still a family event. Anyway, there came a point where I got very frustrated, or I allowed myself to become very frustrated, and I slammed the cars down, and I was just over the game because there were so many underhanded comments that were being made, and there was so much eye contact in regard to me. Now, I understand that they were probably trying to figure me out and whatever else the case may be in regard to my behavior and stuff like that, because, it was a bipolar moment. Any other time that these individuals see me, I will be happy, upbeat, and carefree. But this particular day, I was very antsy. I was very, guarded, and I just wasn't feeling it. Anyway, the underhanded comments I allowed to get to me, and I just threw the cars down and I was done. I just wanted to go home at that point. So then there was some questions asked about my eye. I don't think that the person was trying to be funny, but then again, throughout my life, my eye has been the topic of a lot of, jokes or conversations amongst individuals that, felt the need to be funny. I'm not saying that this is what they were trying to do, but, my eye was brought up, and then the fact that, you can't tell that it pretty much meanders and whatever the case may be was brought up, and, someone in the room started drawing pictures of an eyeball, and I didn't know if that was directed towards me or not, but they drew a picture of an eyeball, and it was like, it was just a situation that reminded me of what I went through in Las Vegas when I was pretty much defenseless against a house full of individuals. And it all occurred because I refused to sleep with a feminine man, a queen, basically. I'm a queen, that person was a queen. What the fuck are we gonna do with each other? I mean, there's really nothing we can do with each other. But anyway, that person got highly upset, and I remember the house turned on me, and I was the butt end of a lot of people's jokes that were in the house. And I had ample opportunity to leave, but I chose to stay there and endure all of those comments that were being thrown at me by the individuals whom were in that house. And then the even more sadder part, after enduring all of that, I finally got ready to leave, and one of the individuals that was a big part of the ridicule and the talking about me and whatever the case may be, they needed a ride. And I ended up giving that person, after all that I went through in that house, and I mean, I went through a lot in regard to words, and words can break you down. And thank God I did not break down at that particular moment, but I was kind enough to give them a motherfucking ride. And I don't know if I broke down at my apartment or what, but I do know that I did eventually break down about that whole scenario, because it was a fucked up situation. And that's what this situation reminded me of when I was at, Honeybee's mom's house. Unfortunately, the energies of my addiction was also there. And those energies, I'm sure, caused me to think otherwise about the situation when it wasn't that way. I was called, let me rephrase, I received a phone call from Honeybee's cousin, one of her favorite cousins, whom happens to be, one of my I want to say closest friends. They called me in regard to my behavior towards their aunt. This person is their aunt that I am speaking of, Honeybee's mom. And they went ham on me, and there were some things that I could defend, and there was some things that I could defend, excuse me, you guys, and there was a lot of things that I just simply could not defend. And after hanging up with them, because I let them go on and on and on, and to the point where I just couldn't take it anymore. And so I ended the conversation. We ended off on a good note, because I was already in the middle of something when I received their phone call. So it was just good to get back to what I was getting into in the first place before receiving that phone call, and just move on. But I haven't talked to that person since then. Not that I have anything, against them, in regard to our conversation. But I just haven't talked to them because I've been I've just been undercover and keeping to myself and manifesting a whole new life for me. And I just haven't reached out to too many people. I reached out to Honeybee because I honestly feel like she just thinks that I'm on one in regard to the whole drug aspect of it all. I'm not going to say I accuse my neighbors of spying on me. This is where that comes into play, you guys, in regard to the whole, neighbor aspect. And I mentioned it to Honeybee, and I mentioned a couple of other things, and I showed her the test that I did via the app that I downloaded. And I just think that a lot of things aren't sitting well with her, due to my behavior. The fact that I started wanting to secure my home with, security cameras, and I don't see anything wrong with that. If I'm having feelings of being possibly spied on or having my privacy or our privacy invaded, mind you, her little cousins or whatever the case may be came over, or at least one of them, which is a little girl, came over. And if I'm being spied upon, then that means that child has been spied upon, and anyone else whom has been in my home has been spied upon. I just think that a lot of things are making her have second thoughts in regard to living with me. And they mentioned via text that they're going to be putting some things in storage because I did set some of their things to the side because I was a little leery about them after doing that test with the night camera mode app. And it's just a messed up situation, you guys. And unfortunately, drugs played a huge part in that. So I'm trying to see what's going on with this, if they're going to move out or whatever the case may be, so that I can get the lock code changed and, pretty much move on with my life and work on making me a better person so that I can help make other people better individuals. That's pretty much it. Anyway, you guys, I'm going to end this content, and I will keep you guys posted in regard to that situation, and hopefully things become better. This is why I'm telling you guys to sober up, because you just never know what type of energy you're putting out into the world that's hurtful to a lot of other individuals. And obviously I did this in this particular case. Obviously I did that in this particular case in regard to putting out energies that was just unbalanced in a balanced situation. So anyway, I'm going to end this content, and namaste.